when art is made accessible to the public, it has the unique ability to inform and inspire us, to see ourselves reflected in the beauty of a poetic lyric, to let our hearts beat to the pulsating rhythms of a dancer's step, to allow our spirits to be lifted, connecting our highest hopes and ideals to movement and melody, envisioning a wellspring of limitless possibilities in our collective future. For song and dance are both borderless and boundless. And when genius speaks in any tongue, the entire world will hear it and listen.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hi, I'm Francesca Zambello. I'm the Artistic Director of the Washington National Opera. Thank you for being here tonight. We have a very special program for you all, super special. So I'm going to talk, I know some of you are here for the preview of the opera tonight, The Marriage of Figaro, and other people are here for just a fun evening at the Millennium Stage. So if you're lucky, you're getting all of that at once, okay? All right, so we'll do a preview and we'll talk about the rest of the season because we have a lot in store and we have some amazing Cafritz young artists here with us tonight. Before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit about the program. For those of you that don't know, the Cafritz Young Artist is our training program for emerging important opera singers and pianists. There are 10 young singers and 2 pianists in the program. The program is run by Chris Cano, who happens to be sitting on that sofa over there waving his hand right now, okay? So this program, he sees like 1,000 people a year for normally what is about 6 spots because kids are only here for 2 or 3 years. So there's only like 6 spots available. So it is highly competitive. But this is really what we consider at WNO our investment in the future. This is what makes the great singers of tomorrow, and many of them, as they emerge and make their careers, come back and sing on our stages. So we're going to hear a lot of different singers tonight, so I thought it would be fun to introduce them all to you first, okay? So I'm going to ask the women to come out here first. Come on out, ladies. Let's welcome them. Okay. This is Viviana Goodwin from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Annalise Klanetsky, who's from Edison, New Jersey. Okay. Michelle Mariposa, who is from the Philippines. And Veronica Siebert, who is from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Oh, and I didn't know you were here. That's great. Okay, it's one of our pianists who is here from, are you from Beijing or Shanghai? Shanghai, wow, Shanghai, okay, great, okay. And then let's have our men join us, please. It's Tung Yao, excuse me, right, okay. Gentlemen, okay, so we have, great. So tenor Hakeem Henderson, who's from Baltimore, Maryland. Chandler Ben, who's from Amherst Junction, Wisconsin. Robert Frazier, who's from Star Lake, New York, a town that has 4 people in the Adirondacks. I looked that up today. It's very beautiful there, though. Okay, Atticus Rigo, who's from Princeton, New Jersey, and Devin Shaw, who's from Erie, Pennsylvania. So let's welcome them, okay? All right, great. So you're going to be hearing all of them sing tonight. You guys can go chill out for a minute, and then we're going to hear so much great music tonight. So I'm going to talk for just a little bit about The Marriage of Figaro, which, for those of you who know my colleague Tim O'Leary, the general director, it's his favorite opera. It's a great opera. I agree with all that. It is if you're going tonight, how many people are going? Hands up. Oh, okay, good. A lot of you. Great. Okay. It's, by many of us in classical music, it's considered a perfect opera. It's a comedy, which I think is a good thing right now. Nobody dies. It's joyous. But it also has incredibly powerful themes. And that's one of the things that I think is so important when we see this opera. The source material for the piece is the play by Pierre Beaumarchais, written in 1784, which is really at the height of the fomenting of the French Revolution. The play premiered at the Comédie Française, which still exists, of course, if you go to Paris, but it was heavily edited by the censors. And it was incredibly controversial when it premiered because it satirized the aristocracy by showing the servants, in this case Susanna and Figaro, as being much more intelligent and resourceful than their noble masters. This, of course, totally infuriated the royalty, and so they made Beaumarchais rewrite a lot of it, and they moved the setting, which was originally in France, to Spain. Now, Spain had a monarchy too, so I'm like, but obviously Spain didn't get as upset about it. Beaumarchais wrote a trilogy of plays, and this is the middle one. The first one is The Barber of Seville, which, of course, Rossini turned into a great opera, one of the staples of our repertory. And the third play is called La Mère Coupable, The Guilty Mother. Nobody turned that into an opera, I think. But so the first two were definitely big hits. Now, what's amazing is that within 2 years, Mozart got his hands on a translation, loved the play, and he wrote the opera, which premiered merely 2 years later in 1786 at the Burgtheater in Vienna. The Burgtheater was one of the opera houses. The Vienna Opera House, which I'm sure many people know, did not exist at that point. And again, the opera in the same way was a revolution, the same way the play was, because the opera challenged the social hierarchy of the time by portraying the Count as a really kind of philandering and corrupt figure, and again featuring Figaro, the clever servant, and Susanna as truly sort of the machine, the motor behind the opera, which you will see tonight. And also the fact that Mozart wrote very strong female characters in this opera who in some ways defy traditional gender roles. As I said, the original play was banned a lot and controversial, and so was Mozart's opera. So much so that to get it past the Austrian emperor, he had to make a lot of cuts, which is fine. The opera's plenty long, by the way. It's about 3 hours with one intermission. But it was the first collaboration between Mozart's librettist, Lorenzo da Ponte, and they made 2 other great operas after this, Così fan tutte, which we did the season after COVID, and Don Giovanni, which we did right before COVID, and we got in, I think, 2 performances. But what's so fascinating is this incredible collaboration yielded the Mozart trilogy, which is so important to really the core repertory, and I think they're 3 of Mozart's greatest operas. By the way, Lorenzo da Ponte ended up moving to New York, where he taught at Columbia, but he ended up being a grocer in New Jersey, where his remains lie. So we're going to hear some of the music from the opera. The opera, very much like a great classical structure, happens in the course of one day. And we're going to get to hear three arias from it. I'm just going to just show you one image from it, by the way, for fun. This is our whole season, which I'm going to get a chance to talk about as we go along. And you've just met all of our wonderful Cafritz young artists. This is Aida, which we just did, and if you missed it, I'm sorry you missed it. It was great. And here's a wonderful image of the Marriage of Figaro and a bit about some of the people who you'll be hearing tonight. By the way, all of these young artists sang a performance of the Marriage of Figaro last Saturday night, and I'm sorry if you missed that, but you're going to get to hear some of them tonight. So the action is set in 18th century Spain. Mozart was writing this opera about the time that he lived in. And that's very important because he was responding to contemporary situations around him. The Figaro, the title character, although honestly Susanna sings more than anybody in the entire opera. It's considered one of the longest roles in the repertory. So Figaro is a servant to the Count Almaviva. And he is preparing to marry Susanna. Susanna is the Countess's maid. Susanna tells Figaro in the first act that Count Almaviva has been chasing her around. And this makes Figaro furious because, you know, this is his wife. Technically, in this period, there was something called droit de seigneur, which means the right to the lord, where the lord could take his pick of any young girl who was about to get married. Figaro is making sure that that doesn't happen. And so Figaro plans to create some kind of revenge on the Count. Meanwhile, Marcellina, an older woman around the court, is very jealous that Susanna has won Figaro's heart. There's also an important young character called Cherubino, who is an extremely flirtatious young man, and this role is traditionally sung by a mezzo, although tonight a countertenor is going to sing it. And so Cherubino aggravates the Count because he's constantly running around being in love with the Countess, being in love with the gardener's daughter. And that's important because in the very beginning, in the first act, we hear about love the whole way through, the love between Susanna and Figaro, and how Cherubino loves love. And one of the things that Cherubino sings very early in the evening is an aria called Non so più, which means I don't know what to do, I can't control my feelings. And so we are going to hear this aria now, Non so più cosa faccio, sung by Veronica. Come on out, thank you. And she's going to sing Non so più, accompanied by Devon. Thank you so much.
Non so più cosa sono, cosa faccio, ore di fuoco, ora sonno di ghiaccio, ogni donna cangiare di colore, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, solo ai nomi d'amor diletto, mi si turba, mi solita la metto, e a parlare mi sforza d'amore, un desio che io non posso spiegare, un desio che io non posso spiegare. Non so più cosa son, cosa faccio, ore di fuoco, ora sonno di ghiaccio, ogni donna cangiar di colore, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar, ogni donna mi fa palpitar. Parlo d'amor vegliando, parlo d'amor sognando, all'acqua, all'ombra, ai monti, ai fiori, all'erba, ai fonti, alle colori, ai venti, che sono vani accenti, portano via con sé. Portano via con sé. Parlo d'amor vegliando, parlo d'amor sognando, all'acqua, all'ombre, ai monti, ai fiori, all'erbe, ai fonti, alle colori, ai venti, che sogni vani accenti, portano via con sé. Portano via con sé. E se non ho chi moda, e se non ho chi moda, parlo d'amor con me, con me. Parlo d'amor con me.
Thank you. That was wonderful. So tonight you're going to hear John Holliday, a countertenor in that role. And so what's so amazing is that Mozart wrote this role for a mezzo who plays a boy who later in the opera you will see dresses up as a girl to try and trick the count. So opera's been into cross-gender and cross-dressing for about 400 years. So it's nothing new in opera. And everybody loved it. Okay, so after this, what happens is Cherubino hides when the Count comes because he has been trying to woo Susanna. And then Count Almaviva discovers Cherubino and demands that he immediately leave the house and join the military. At which point, Figaro tries to convince the Count to preside over his wedding, but the Count puts him off and he says, "Get Cherubino out of the house. I don't want him around here anymore." At which point, Figaro sings one of his many arias called Non più andrai, which is basically where he is telling him, okay, now Cherubino, you're going to go out, you're going to become a man, you're going to toughen it up, and you're going to be in the military. So we're now going to hear baritone Robert Fraser, member from Star Lake, New York, sing this aria, which concludes Act 1. Let's welcome Robert. Thank you.
Dai farfallone amoroso, notte e giorno d'intorno girando, delle belle turbando e a riposo, narcisetto aloncino d'amor. Delle belle turbando e a riposo, narcisetto aloncino d'amor. Non più avrai questi bei pennacchini, quel cappello leggero e galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesto color, quel vermiglio d'onesto color. Non vi avrai quei pennacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante. Non vedrai farfallone amoroso, notte e giorno d'intorno girando, delle belle turbando a riposo, narcisetto aloncino d'amor. Delle belle turbando a riposo, narcisetto aloncino d'amor. Tra guerrieri pu per bacco, gran mustacchi stretto sacco, schioppa in spalla, sciama al fianco, collo dritto, muso franco, un gran casco, un gran turbante, molto onor, poco contante, poco contante, poco contante. Ed invece del fandango una marcia per il fango, per montane e per valoni, con le nevi e solioni al concerto di tromboni, di bombardieri di cannoni che ne vogliono tutti i tuoni all'orecchio fan fischiar. Non vi avrai quei pennacchini, non vi avrai quel capello, non vi avrai quella chioma, non vi avrai quell'aria brillante. Non vedrai farfallone amoroso, notte e giorno d'intorno girando, delle belle turbando e a riposo, narcisetto aloncino d'amor. Delle belle turbando e a riposo, narcisetto aloncino d'amor. Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar. Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. So Act One, which is the first part of our, there are 4 acts and we do it with just 1 intermission. So what's sort of so fascinating is that Mozart knew way before Downton Abbey or Upstairs, Downstairs, that people love these 2 worlds of, you know, the servants and the aristocracy. And so for the second part of the first half of the opera, we then go upstairs to the Countess's room, where we meet the Countess, who is lamenting, she believes, the Count's infidelity and wonders if her husband will ever love her again. She sings an incredibly beautiful aria, Porgi Amor, where she's reflecting on the love of her husband. And then what ends up happening is that her servant, Susanna, joins her, and they make a plan to how to trick the Count. So before we go on with the story, we're going to have a wonderful rendition of that aria, Porgi Amor, which Annalise Klinetsky is going to sing for us. Welcome, Annalise and Devin. Great, thank you. Yes, so what happens in the rest of the opera, just to have a sort of quick think through it, the women hatch a plan basically to trick the Count. And they go through an incredible amount of machinations in doing so in the rest of that act. In the second half of the opera, Almaviva asks Susanna to meet him in the garden, and the Countess insists that Susanna should do this because, again, they want to trick him. Meanwhile, Marcellina, remember I mentioned that older woman, demands that Figaro marry her, showing him a contract She's, I don't know, cougar searching, I don't know. Anyway, but what she discovers is that Figaro has a birthmark, and she suddenly discovers Figaro is actually her son. And so, everything happens in this opera. Anyway, so then they're all aligned together, and now it's just a matter of how do we get everyone together. And that is one of the geniuses of the last act, which takes place in the garden, where all the characters can come together. Figaro thinks that Susanna is running off with the Count. The Count thinks that he's tricking his wife, and what ends up happening actually is that the women succeed in making the men realize that they actually love them and that they tricked them, and that all come together for a very happy, happy ending and a very beautiful wedding. And the men all learn a lesson. And so who is in this opera tonight? First of all, we get a chance to welcome our new music director fully in his position, Robert Spano, who's a great Mozart specialist. The production was directed by Peter Cazares. And tonight you will hear in the Countess, Rosa Fiola, who was last with us singing the role of Juliet 2 seasons ago. Oh, this says Yaritza Valiz is singing Susanna. That's not the case. It's actually Joelle Harvey. Yaritza, unfortunately, is Chilean and had a visa issue, which we won't go into. But anyway, so you're going to get a great treat with Joelle Harvey, who's a Virginia native. John Holliday, I told you about, is Carabino. Will Liverman will be singing the Count. He's one of our winners of the Marian Anderson Award. And Lebu is the title character, Figaro. Lebu is from China, and he last sang the Mandarin in Turandot here. He's debuting in the role. And then Elizabeth Bishop is Marcellina, who is a wonderful character mezzo, and we're fortunate to have Sir Willard White here, the great Jamaican bass, singing the role of Bartolo, and Rodel Rosell as Basilio, who's a very funny countertenor, character tenor, and Kevin Thompson as Antonio, who's the garden, whose all of his plants are ruined. I told you about the garden. Well, that gets much worse. So that's a bit about Figaro. I could tell you hours more, but we're going to hear more about the rest of our season. The next thing that we have up after Figaro will be the opera The Little Prince, which is our holiday opera, which we will be performing in the Terrace Theater. Oh, let's go back. There we go. Great. The Little Prince is based on, of course, the great classic by Saint-Exupéry. It's a beautiful story for families, for everyone. It's about a 90-minute opera in 2 acts, and it tells the story of the meeting between the pilot and the prince. The pilot's plane crashes in the Sahara. Of course, the pilot is actually Saint-Exupéry himself, where he meets this strange and fantastical character of the little prince who's wandering around the desert. And together they journey around all the different planets of the solar system, meeting so many different and unique characters. But what it really teaches us in the end is that the pilot learns rather that the world that he lives in is the world he should be in. And the prince teaches us, I think, a very important lesson. And there are so many things about this book. People think it's like he's an analogy for Christ. It's a religious story. It's a total fantastical story. But I think the story is really about how the prince teaches us about life and the afterlife. And so this beautiful score by Rachel Portman, who won an Oscar for the film Cider House Rules, is I just think, an incredibly powerful telling of this book. It features all of our young artists in it. It also features a chorus of 20 young kids, sort of ages 9 to 13 or so. It's very joyous having them around the building rehearsing, bringing that incredible energy. And so now we're going to hear an aria from the piece, sung by Chandler Ben, accompanied by Tung Yao, where the pilot sings about why does he love to fly? What does it mean to him to be up there in the sky? So Chandler, hello.
Every other week I fly from France
dance, and every other week I fly back home. In between I kick my heels at the aerodrome. I play bezique, attend a dance, I take a desultory glance at some book I've never explored. I'm bored, but every week my heart beats fast. Out on the runway, strip at last. The needle flutters on the flight controls. The engine splutters and the aircraft rolls. Then a bang and a thump and the hint of a prayer. I'm in the air, weightless, motionless, I climb into a world outside of time, where I hang in perfect poise. And houses look like toys. I'm in the air, now my soul takes flight into a holiday of light. I hold the stars in the palm of my hand. The proud possessor of the sky, when I fly.
This is an opera, I just have to tell you, don't miss. Get your tickets now, because it's in the Terrace and it will sell out, and it is beautiful and powerful and charming, and it's wonderful for adults and for children, for families, for first-time opera goers. After this, we will be doing in January what we always do, which is our American Opera Initiative series. This is where we have commissioned 3 20-minute short operas by emerging composers and librettists. That's also in the Terrace Theater. It's a great chance to hear people like Carlos Simon, who began his career with us, who is the composer in residence at the Kennedy Center. Then we will be going to our spring repertory, which will be in the Eisenhower Theater, where we will be presenting 2 operas, The Crucible and Treemonisha. So we don't have a selection to hear from The Crucible tonight, but I just would love to tell you a little bit about it. It is based on the Tony Award-winning play, of course, by Arthur Miller. The opera is by Robert Ward. It won a Pulitzer Prize when it premiered. Very short. The play premiered in 1953. The opera premiered in 1960. It is about the Salem witch trials of 1682. That was a lot of dates in one sentence, but you get the idea. And what's so important about the Salem witch trials was it was about false accusations. And it tore the community apart. More than 20 people were killed needlessly because of accusations by young girls. And so this, when Arthur Miller wrote it, it was really, he wrote it as an analogy to the Red Scare and to McCarthyism. It was a very powerful play. The opera is very powerful. It's lyric, romantic music. It's not sort of pots and pans modernism of 1960. It has an incredibly beautiful score, and I'm thrilled that we will have Roberts conducting it, and 2 wonderful artists who've been with us before, Janae Bridges as Elizabeth Proctor, who's really the backbone of the opera. She sang Delilah with us. Boy, I'm going back to COVID a lot. We only got 2 performances of Samson and Delilah in before it was canceled. Since then, she has gone on to make an incredible international career. She's called the Beyoncé of opera now. And Ryan McKinney as John Proctor, who refuses to recant at the end of the opera and is killed for his principles. That will be, Ryan was with us for the Ring Cycle. He was our Don Giovanni, and so I'm thrilled to welcome them back for this piece. It's very powerful and very, very beautiful. It will play in repertory with Treemonisha. Treemonisha is the only ragtime opera written by Scott Joplin in 1910. And you are seeing the set design here. This is the design in the top right-hand corner, and it will be directed by great American mezzo-soprano Denise Graves. Damian Sneed, who is there with her, is writing the arrangements. Interestingly, when Scott Joplin wrote the score, he of course also wrote orchestrations, but unfortunately his lawyer threw them out by mistake. So the orchestrations don't exist. So Scott Joplin himself marched his piano vocal score to the Library of Congress, so we are using that original score, and we have commissioned Damien to write new orchestrations for this. It's a beautiful and powerful story about a community in Texarkana where there is a young girl named Treemonisha, and the reason she's called that is her mother's name is Manisha, and she found a baby under a tree, so she named her daughter Treemonisha. The story is just after the emancipation, and what happens is that Treemonisha is abducted by several people in the community and manages to find her way back. And because she was educated in the white slave owner's house, she's the only young girl in this whole community who can read and write. And what's an amazing story is how she becomes the leader of this community. So it's a very empowering tale about a young girl who really becomes an important leader in her community. It is full of joyous music, great dancing, wonderful ensemble. We have a superb cast assembled, and Viviana Goodwin, who sang Clara with us last season in Porgy and Bess, she's the character who opens the opera singing Summertime, is going to be playing the title character of Treemonisha. So you are now going to get a super preview of her singing one of the arias from the piece. Let's welcome Viviana.
Here in the
ladies. You're not going to want to miss either of these operas, Crucible or Treemonisha. They're going to be great. They're going to be really exciting. So please, please join us for those. Here's some more pictures of the design. These are some of the costume designs. Our final offering for the season will be West Side Story back in the Opera House. And you may have noticed that from January through the spring, with the American Opera Initiative, Treemonisha, The Crucible, and West Side Story, we are presenting all American works. This is to celebrate our 250th semi-sesquicentennial. You have to say that 10 times fast. We are really focusing on great American works, emerging composers, ragtime, American romantic classics, and then one of the great American musicals, which many people think is very related to an opera. So why are we doing West Side Story in an opera house, people ask. First of all, Leonard Bernstein is one of our most important composers, if not the most important. He, of course, loved opera very much. He did write several operas, and he always felt that opera was his main inspiration for West Side Story, and we're going to hear some of that in what we're going to hear in a second. I've also felt that an opera house can really offer certain resources, a big orchestra, a big ensemble cast, and also we are featuring the original choreography of Jerome Robbins. So that is being recreated. So it's a chance to see the original choreography, hear this amazing score with a big orchestra and with a wonderful cast, which is a mix of opera singers, music theater performers, and dancers. Leading it will be the esteemed conductor Marin Alsop, who was a protege of Leonard Bernstein's, and she'll be sharing the podium with James Lau. So I'm not going to go into the story of West Side Story. I feel like it's in everybody's DNA at some point, but let's talk a little bit about what we're going to hear. We're first going to hear Tony's song, Something's Coming, which Hakeem Henderson is going to sing. And this happens very early in the show. It's at the point where he hasn't met Maria yet, but he is very disillusioned with the gang warfare, and he is looking to try to find a better future. He wants to leave the Jets then, and he decides that he will go to the dance that night. So when he sings Something's Coming, he doesn't know yet, but Maria's coming his way. So let's have Hakeem come on out and join us.
I will know right away, soon as it shows. And make him cannonballing down the sky, gleaming his eye, bright as a rose. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach, under a tree. I got a feeling there's a miracle due, gonna come true, coming to me. Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good. If I can wait, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. With the click, with the shock, phono jingle, door knock, open the latch. Something's coming, don't know when, but it's soon. Catch them all, one-handed catch. Around the corner, whistling down the river. Come on, deliver to me. Will it be? Yes, it will. Maybe just by holding still, it'll be there. Come on, something, come on in. Don't be shy, meet a guy, pull up a chair. The air is humming, and something great is coming. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach. Maybe tonight, maybe tonight, maybe tonight.
Okay. It's so appropriate that you're going to go see, a lot of you, The Marriage of Figaro, and that we're going to close with the quintet from West Side Story. Mozart was a revolution, really, in music. One of his amazing things that he created was the use of ensemble. So when you're seeing the second act tonight, where there are 6 characters or 7 characters, each singing about their own story, their own events. He started that, which is, it was incredible. People were like, what is this? We think of American musicals beginning in 1927 with Showboat. West Side Story was written in 1956 and 57. Leonard Bernstein used the notion of the quintet, of 5 different groups of people or 5 characters singing about their individual feelings, which was completely a revolution in music and in musicals at the time. The famous quintet, and again, it's, of course, Bernstein was influenced by things like the quartet in the last act of Rigoletto, the quartet in, Act 3 of La Boheme. He knew these pieces so well, and so when he put this into a musical, it was a revolution when people first heard this on Broadway. So what is known as the Tonight Quintet is based on the Tonight. Amazing that word tonight is like the lyric for like half the show. Is sung first in a duet between Maria and Tony. And then the other people who join into the quintet are the Jets, the Sharks led by Bernardo, and Anita. And so what happens is each of these characters have a chance to express their feelings about what's going to happen. Anita sings about the anticipation of meeting her boyfriend Bernardo, the head of the Sharks, before they go to the Rumble. Tony and Maria are about singing about tonight, and Riff, who is Tony's best friend, is talking about what's going to happen at the Rumble. So it's an incredible fusion of, in this case, 5 voices. In the musical, of course, you've got all the Sharks and all the Jets as well. So we're going to conclude with this amazing piece of music, the quintet from West Side Story. We're going to have a chance to hear Viviana come back, Michelle Mariposa, Hakeem, Chandler Ben, and Atticus Reggio as Bernardo. So let's welcome them all. Thank you.
Tonight, I'll see my love tonight.
All right.
Tonight there will be no morning star. Tonight, I sing my love tonight, and your stars will stay where they are. Did it seem like hours? The hours go so slowly, and still the sky is light. Oh, moon, how bright, and make this day and this
I want to thank all of the Cafritz young artists who performed this evening. Thank you so much to all of them. You guys are amazing, and you all can have a chance to see them in all of these operas between now and the end of the season. So please, please join us. Please encourage people to come see our work. We need your help now more than ever. We're very, very grateful that you're here this evening. I hope you have a wonderful evening if you're staying for the opera, and if you're not, come back soon. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your support.